In late 2023, a quiet shift occurred at the front lines of software development. For those building the next generation of artificial intelligence, the challenge of writing manual code is now considered a solved problem. When an algorithm can bridge the gap between a human idea and functional syntax in seconds, the value of the traditional coder begins to change. The effort spent memorizing the specific rules and grammar of a programming language is no longer the primary barrier to building software. This is an economic shift. Generating thousands of lines of syntax through a model is now thousands of times cheaper than paying a human to type them. When the cost of production drops that far, the market for manual labor inevitably reacts. This creates a new divide in the industry. On one side is software development, the act of typing code, which is losing its utility. On the other is software engineering, the high-level design of systems, which is becoming the core of the job. Engineering now focuses on the architecture, choosing between cloud providers like Azure or Amazon, determining where data is stored to meet legal requirements, and figuring out how distinct systems talk to one another. For developers used to the keyboard, this is a moment for transition. Staying relevant means moving away from the lines of code and learning how to orchestrate the broader systems they reside in. This new way of working is pulling engineers out of traditional, complex coding environments and moving them into streamlined, terminal-based workflows driven by agents. The core of this workspace is the harness. Think of it as a specialized shell that surrounds the AI model. By itself, the AI can only process text, but when combined with the harness, it becomes an autonomous agent. The harness provides the model with a set of tools. It allows the agent to independently browse through folders, write new files to your hard drive, and execute bash commands to see if the software actually runs. While the harness provides the physical ability to act, the underlying models, like Claude or DeepSeek, provide the reasoning. They perform the vast majority of the cognitive work needed to solve a technical problem. The human engineer functions as a supervisor in this relationship. They provide the direction and high-level strategy, while the agent handles the literal construction of the files. Instead of writing code, the engineer now writes specifications. They use plain language to define the rules, the business logic, and exactly how the final product should behave. These specifications serve as a human-readable master document. It becomes the definitive record of what the software is supposed to do, making the system easier to track than a mountain of raw syntax. This document is the input for the Ralph loop, an automated cycle where the agent writes the code, tests it, and revises its own errors until the task is complete. When the loop finishes, the agent provides a visual proof. This might be a screenshot of a new user interface or a log showing a successful data transfer. The engineer reviews these end results rather than the code. If the proof matches the spec, the work is done. This makes the underlying code disposable. If something needs to change, you just update the spec and regenerate the software. When an agent can perfectly align the software to a specification and prove it works, the internal readability of the code loses its importance to the human engineer. This level of automation is leading toward a concept called the dark factory. It's a term from physical manufacturing describing a plant so autonomous it can operate in the dark because there are no humans inside who need to see. In software, this means agents working in the background to draft, write, and even review their own code updates. They handle pull requests and testing without needing a human to turn on the lights. For the tech industry, this changes the definition of an efficient team. Large 15-person engineering groups are becoming a liability because of the massive amount of human communication they require to stay aligned. Companies are already beginning to restructure around this reality. Executives are realizing that 3 people using agents can often outperform a team of 20 working manually. Jack Dorsey recently moved to restructure Block based on these insights, acknowledging that massive headcount is no longer a marker of engineering power. The transition is happening now. Success in this environment requires the curiosity to start experimenting with these agents immediately, testing their limits and learning how to lead them. The role of the code typist is being replaced by the process engineer, the person who can orchestrate complex systems and direct the machines that work in the dark.